So now what we have is a media that understands those facts as you just laid them out. And so instead of doing more of what we did see Jake Tapper try to do today, to his credit, we're getting a deflection into those memes are racist. That Trump is a racist. Why are we seeing a sombrero? Just totally not getting that America has moved on from those days. We are just no longer willing to forget our sense of humor. I speak on behalf, in particular, of all Irish Americans. There's nothing we like more than making fun of one another. And this is a sampling of what we've been seeing on the airwaves. Stop 4.
What does that shameful man do? Something that draws a sombrero and a mustache?
Not showing this video that Donald Trump put out, this fake video. It is absolutely disgusting.
Say it to my face.
Trump is continuing to post racist and bizarre AI videos. Not going to play that.
It is the ugliest, possibly the single most demented thing he has ever done on social media.
I'm not going to play the whole video because we don't find it meets our standards. So we're the news. We're not going to tell you what it is. Hateful, kind of bigoted, doctored image.
You'll have a very easy time finding it, but you won't find it on this program. I am not going to use this hour to show that kind of Trump filth and depravity.
They don't get it. Like, Tom, it's better to be in on the joke. It's better maybe to give it an eye roll, be like classic Trump. But the Democrat media is doing this because they're much happier just leveling accusations of racism than getting down to the honest truth about what's in this bill and why the Democrats are objecting to it.
I think if it really was, I think if it really was racist, they would show it. I think they know it's not racist and that it's funny and that their audience might actually laugh at it privately or secretly and be like, you know what, that's actually kind of funny. So they just describe it as this depraved, Lawrence O'Donnell, come on, please. The most depraved thing Trump's ever done.
Tom, if you say it's depraved and filthy, then your watchers on MSNBC, oh, I got to see this, and they call it up.
That's true.
And they're going to see it may be in bad taste. It's not depraved. It's not
the single most demented thing that Donald Trump has ever done.
Right.
When who was it that made fun of J.D. Vance and he leaned into it and laughed about it, right?
He reposted
as I said earlier, what the Democrats have done here and Hakeem Jeffries and the media, they've allowed, you just showed 4 or 5 of those clips. The Trump War Room and some of the MAGA folks, they put sombreros on every single one of them, including they put a sombrero and mustache on the Hispanic congresswoman that was complaining about it being raped. So they've turned this into a running gag that most of the country, I think, they may find it in bad taste. They may think it's childish, it's juvenile, but I think most people think it's either pretty funny and they get a laugh out of it, or it's kind of harmless. But they certainly don't think I don't know what percent of the country lines up with Lawrence O'Donnell and thinks it's the worst thing that's ever happened to the country in the history of America.
Yeah. You don't think it's the single most demented thing that this president or any has ever done? Here, to your point, and I'll play this for you, Andy, is a C-SPAN caller calling in. The C-SPAN, it's not exactly known for its levity, but here we go, SOT 6.
I called Hakeem Jeffries last night and left him a voicemail, and I wanted to know where he got the sombrero from because I wanted to buy one too because I thought he looked good in it. It's just a joke. See, nobody can take a joke no more. This country is so evil in so many ways that nobody can take a joke anymore. You do not think that is funny? A mariachi band, Donald Trump playing all those instruments, and Hakeem Jeffries. That is funny. Come on.
He speaks for us all, Andrew, but that's a real... like a regular person just calling into C-SPAN to say, would you lighten up? And then it's perfect to see the C-SPAN anchor like, oh my God, he wants me to laugh at the sombrero. I definitely cannot laugh at the sombrero.
I like the J.D. Vance. He said, I will make a solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. I think. I do think a couple things. One, it makes me a little nostalgic for the days of when we were all bemoaning the fact that Twitter had ruined political discourse and that, 126 characters or whatever it was. I mean, now we're talking about memes as if that's the heart of political discourse. And I think, unfortunately, that is sort of at the heart of our political discourse right now. And I think that's kind of sad in a way. But I also think that the Democrats have it's like Lucy in the football. I mean, why do they sort of rise to the bait so quickly on something like this? And it sort of deflects them from making arguments that they could be making, I suppose, because now they're arguing about this and they look like it looks like they can't take a joke. It doesn't advance their argument. You can't beat Trump when it comes to social media. You shouldn't even try. And I haven't seen anybody on the left who comes close to Donald Trump in terms of just sort of an understanding of how you use this new medium in this new era. And he
don't have it.
He just redefines what political discourse is. And we may not like it. We may, think, oh my gosh, I wish we were arguing over op-eds in the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. But we're not. This is where we are. And he's the master of it.
So it's like they're very upset that he's exploiting Mexican culture in order to make his political point. But, I am old enough to remember taco trucks everywhere, which they said was an acronym that stood for Trump always chickens out. That was before we bombed Iran. But that's what they wanted to say, that he would always chicken out on his threats. And they love to see the little taco trucks show up everywhere. I think we have a little montage of that.
Democrats trolling Trump with the taco truck. The DNC parking this truck outside the Republican National Committee in D.C. to taunt Trump with his new Wall Street nickname, Taco, which means Trump always chickens out. A reference to the many times that he has retreated from his trade war threats, right? Promising something and then lowering them without a negotiation. The truck, obviously featuring an image of Trump as a chicken. This is the White House says Trump has sent out letters to major U.S. trading partners, and they have demanded their quote unquote best offers by the end of the day tomorrow.
Credit once again to Western Lensman, who finds the best stuff. But this is all over the place. They thought that this is wonderful, a wonderful thing to do, Carl, back when it was making fun of Trump. But now that it's making fun of a Democrat, it's racist.
Well, this is I once told this to George Stephanopoulos when he was working for Bill Clinton in another context, Megyn. But the difference between someone who laughs at his enemies and a person who laughs at himself is the difference between a bully and a person with a sense of humor. And, we talk about people on the left aren't funny anymore, but that wasn't always true. I mean, the funniest guy on the left was Al Franken, who you mentioned earlier. Then he decided he was going to run for Congress. And Al Franken spoke at the White House Correspondents' Dinner twice. And the first time, he was really funny. He was not in politics then. He poked more fun at Republicans, but also some at Democrats. Then he decided he was going to get into politics. He later ran for Senate of Minnesota. And the second time, he wasn't funny at all. Hyper-partisanship is almost by definition not funny. And so there's this thing where J.D. Vance retweets the things making fun of him, of the memes poking fun at him. That's actually an essential point here. We're in baseball playoffs, Megyn. Are you a Yankee fan? Because I hesitate to bring up this sport.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not, but let's argue about that another time.
Well, I mean, I have no choice because the Mets didn't really have a great year. That was my dad's team. But I know enough to know they stunk up the joint this year.
All right. Well, but now we're in baseball playoffs. There's a phrase in baseball, and it's really apropos to this. It's called rabbit ears. You have rabbit ears. And what it means is when somebody's ragging on you, you get mad, you get red in the face, you can see it bothers you. Well, if you do that in baseball, if you show you have rabbit ears, you will subject yourself to unmerciful teasing and hazing, and so people tend to be stoic or laugh along with it. I saw Hakeem Jeffries sort of showed that he had rabbit ears, and I don't mean that in any kind of
you're in trouble now, Carl.
I'm just talking about this baseball phrase, and so that he assured that they would keep doing it. And I just, that's such an elemental thing. You'd think he'd know that. Can I make one more comment before I don't mean to monopolize, but you showed that C-SPAN clip. That guy not laughing is John McArdle. He's a great young journalist. He has a terrific sense of humor, but at C-SPAN, they were taught by Brian Lamb, they can't laugh at stuff like this. And I found this out myself when Brian had me on his show, his book show about my book, and it was a book about presidents, and he said, you say good things about presidents in this, every president in this book. And I said, yeah, but you'll notice Richard Nixon's not in there. And it's supposed to be a laugh line. You're in a studio alone with the guy. And he doesn't even crack a smile. He's a poker face. And I finally had to say, Brian, that's a joke. And he still didn't laugh. He goes, yes, I see. So that's the C-SPAN way. I wanted to
C-SPAN's ratings.
I wanted
just
to
make sure you give the audience absolutely nothing to connect to. That's what's most important is that you showed zero humanity. That's our business
Megyn,
model.
I'm trying to defend C-SPAN here.
As long as we're on the subject of TV programming, back to the telethon over on Hakim's YouTube channel, Tom. By 9:55 p.m., they had Don Lemon on there. This is how desperate they got for anyone. So Don Lemon gets on there and asks, what's next? The former CNN host, again, this is political writing, turned independent creator, asked of Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat of Massachusetts, how can the people watching, what can they do? Politico finishes with, just 122 people are watching. So you've got Don Lemon sitting there with a member of the squad, and they garnered, this isn't at 4 in the morning either. This is at 9:55 p.m. They garnered less than 130 people in their effort to turn the narrative. I would say this. If I were advising Hakeem Jeffries, I don't know exactly how to land it, but I think the next move should definitely be him at a Mexican restaurant, actually wearing a sombrero, maybe doing a dance, and then at the end saying like one line that he wants people to remember about what this dispute is really about. Like, it's all in good fun. I'll be the first to make fun of myself. I think I look good in this hat. I'm not sure about the mustache, but what I don't look good in is being surrounded by people who don't have their health care, and that's actually what I'm fighting for. Something like that.
Ooh.
Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation. That is reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you're missing the boat. Here are the facts. Inflation, still too high. The U.S. dollar, still too weak. And the government debt is still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. You don't pay a dime out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation. There's just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and in this case, the present. Gold has historically been a safe haven, and it's doing gangbusters right now. So text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. Text MK to 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.